I'm here today with two, I would like to say, people, and they are super nice.
Accurate.
I've known them for a while now, a couple minutes, and they added on to a game that I loved already. We got Jason, we got Darren, and they just keep making games. Durdle Games, what's going on? You guys okay?
Yeah,
We're doing good. Yeah, it's been a crazy ride watching the Kickstarter for this pop off, and people seem really excited about it. It's been fun to watch.
You guys made so much money from that. Well, not you guys, but Restoration Games. They sure made a lot of money off of something you made.
It was really fun to watch the backer numbers come in. I mean, I wish that there would have been, 2 more backers so that we could have said it had over 9,000.
You were right there. You were right there, dude.
I backed my own Kickstarter with like 90 seconds left in the campaign for $1 to put it over, and we missed it by 1.
Dang, man. That's so close. Well, I mean, what you guys did was insane. I hear about board games starting Kickstarters and they just blow up. But your guys' goals was $10,000. And you guys passed it by a lot. So congratulations. So this is your first game that you've designed and published. Was this your dream? Give me the truth, please. I want to know.
I wouldn't say it started as a dream. Honestly, it started a bit, I think, as a diversion, as a creative pursuit. At the time, we were, at that time in the world, people weren't going out much.
Yeah.
And personally, I needed something to focus on. I needed a creative endeavor. I was at a point in my life where I was like, well, I can't consume content for the rest of my life and die. Like, I need to create and build something. And Jason brought the opportunity to me. Mm-hmm. And he's already really good at it. And so, it turns out we get along, well enough to do this kind of work. So.
You guys are from Ohio. I'm from Ohio. Why do so many people from Ohio play Unmatched?
Why do they play Unmatched? I assume it's like lack of options to do anything else.
Okay, yeah, I didn't want to hear that, but I guess that is the answer.
It's a really good Wednesday night in Ohio.
I know you guys like cryptids, and the Loveland Frog is from Ohio. And it seems like you have like a personal connection. You put little pieces of yourself in this game. What's the biggest piece of yourself that you feel that was expressed initially or otherwise?
I know when it comes to Annie Christmas's deck and all of the Charlie poker cards, I can remember just going to Darren like, how about this one? Can we make this a card? Can we make something called a bad beat? Can we call it Big Slick? And then like the Turn in the River ended up making it all the way through development and quite a pair. So like we had some of those moments in there. So I don't have like a ton of poker experience, but definitely a good amount, and it was fun to get that.
With this game, you can get obsessed with something like the history of Annie Christmas, and then you can just deep dive as much as you want, and then that just benefits you, and then you can make the deep cut references. Because I love having giant IPs like Marvel, but for me, the things I get really excited about are about characters I do not know, and then I become invested in those characters. And then I get excited to learn about them. Thus, it makes me like the game even more. Was that something you were trying to do?
I mean, Darren is quite invested, so I'll let him talk a little bit about Annie.
Yeah, so for those who don't know, when we were originally designing the system, it was going to be fan content. We did not think it would ever get published. And so the original theme was folktales versus cryptids. And that's how we were going to run with it. So we were investigating a lot of folktales, and we ran across Annie Christmas. And I started learning more about her, and I got books from the library, I listened to podcasts, I read and read and read, and I found out that she's a really great character. I really, really liked her. I got really attached to her. There's like an alternate way to tell this tale that when she didn't get picked for the fan deck design contest, like seething in rage, I decided to like make an entire game system and force them to buy it. To put Annie Christmas in the game. It's easy to become attached to these characters, right? And just for a lot of the same reasons you might get attached to a big IP, right? There's a narrative, there's a story, you get invested in it. But when you get into a public domain character like this, especially one that's more loosely defined, and there's not as much content like a Jill Trent or like an Annie Christmas, there's a lot more space for interpretation. So what inevitably happens is you start putting in your own ideas about the character into the game, and it gets you arguably more invested, I think, than you would be if it was an IP character.
So you guys basically created a sub-franchise, like a new game mode for Unmatched. Do you see like other game modes being created for Unmatched? We have like a co-op kind of way to play. We have the competitive way to play 1v1. Do you see like an RPG happening, a dating game, a racing game? What do you want? And are you going to contribute to it? Or are you guys good?
There should just be more Unmatched. So
Yeah.
however we can get it, whether there's a customizable, deck builder game, or whether there's, anything, I would play Unmatched. So I think that they can take a lot of what they've already built here and move it elsewise. Whether it's like campaigns or competitive versions of the co-op, I think that they should just push the edges of the system. Certainly, like I don't know what all is planned, but I definitely would encourage anything.
The smartest thing you guys did was have the other characters be able to be implemented in the game. I think that was huge, and congratulations for being able to make that work.
Well, it's a interesting puzzle to work through because obviously the original characters, and I don't know what the count was when we kind of wrapped up the initial design. It was probably less than 20 at the time. It wasn't a lot. The original characters were never intended for this, right? There was never a world where they were supposed to take on an automated bot. We always called them bots. They were never supposed to take on a bot. And there's parts of Unmatched Adventures that are straight simulations. There are parts that are adaptations, right? And so we knew there was going to be some things that wouldn't quite work one for one. So we actually we had a big list, not a big list. We had a relatively small list of cards, and we sent them to Restoration and said, "Here's what doesn't work. Here's some suggestions on how to make it work, and we'll just have to live with it." And to Restoration's credit, I think they did a very good job at making the decisions they did with what works in the system and what doesn't. But those are the trade-offs you got to make. Like you're adapting content that is a square peg, and you're making a round hole, and they're not necessarily going to fit up perfectly.
Okay.
Yeah, when we first started, the Buffy set had just dropped, and we didn't know Beowulf and Red yet. So the moment that I saw doors on the map, and I'm like, oh no, how are our bots going to do doors? and then joining playtests for seeing some like upcoming content every time a fighter would like in some way be difficult to deal with the bots. I thought, oh no, this is our downfall. There were so many, but then what Darren's saying, to their credit, they found the best solution possible for the largest amount of fighters. So really, even early on, all of our tests included, does this work with Invisible Man? Does the game break if you put the fog tokens on these corners to get to everything that you need to? Does the game break if like all of these fighters bring all of their 1 health sidekicks? So we definitely stretched the system immediately, and for good reason, because we weren't super confident in the fighters that we were making at the beginning. So we needed the unmatched system, and we needed those existing fighters to verify that the system worked at all.
Yeah.
We didn't have like we didn't have the insight to what was coming up in Unmatched, right? Restoration didn't hand us a 2-year prospectus and say, here's what's coming out, here's the flavor for each, here's how it's going to work. So we had to build something that was relatively broad that could accommodate a lot of things and hopefully like flex with the future changes.
It sounds like Restoration Games is very good at hearing what the community wants. That's amazing. You guys even got the chance to pitch it. Were they welcoming to the idea? Were they looking for new ideas? Or were they surprised that you even brought anything to them?
They were surprised we were in the meeting, I think.
I think they were puzzled as to why they were in the meeting.
Yeah, they saw this tabletop simulator table full of just components, just so many things that needed to not be there. But there was enough. There was a nugget, but they were receptive. I mean, every interaction I've ever had with all of the folks at Restoration, they've been just terrific folks and are always willing to listen. And yeah, ultimately they were receptive, but like they're very straightforward. Halfway through one of our initial pitches, they were like, that's probably enough detail in terms of like overall complexity. And I was like, oh, I have about half of it left to explain to you. We added so much complexity. Here is so much. Here are all of the ideas.
Yeah.
And yeah, so they were both straightforward and very frank and earnest the entire way. So really appreciate them.
That's amazing. And I like how you guys work together. Like, I like how you guys are a duo. You guys play 2v2s at all?
I played exactly one 2v2.
Bro.
And sorry.
I've played many. What
you got to do is you got to get your boy, and we got to play some 2v2 sometime. So I'm going to tell you right now, it's my favorite way to play the game. So me and my roommates, and I live with 3 men, which is a lot of men. That means 4 altogether. And we started playing 2v2. So that's pretty much the only way I knew how to play for a while. It's a different meta. It's a different, way to be competitive. Do you think this could create interest in 2v2 at all?
Definitely. I mean, all of the templating that calls out friendly fighters, for the same reason that Willow is an all-star in 2v2, that was always top of mind. So even though I haven't played a bunch of 2v2, I've been, around the Discord and definitely know like the opinions on it. So anything that like affects friendly fighters now plays well in the co-op the same way they would in 2v2. So now I would imagine that anyone that enjoys 2v2 will look at, these co-op fighters or other things that like push that edge of the system, and it'll bring a new life to what they enjoy.
There's some neat features to 2v2 that you'll find are somewhat similar in Unmatched Adventures. One is card draw. Card draw is much more important
Huge.
in 2v2 because you can get focused, right? And the same thing goes for Unmatched Adventures. You can have a big bad and you can have 2 minions on you, and maybe they're not going anywhere. And you can't get anywhere. You just set up bad and you have to survive that. So card draw is your friend.
When I saw the wording of like friendly fighters, I knew that was for me. It felt like it was. I don't know. I got really parasocial with you guys because I was like, this is for 2v2. And that's something I want to push more. Like, it's just such a fun way to get. I'd love to play with you guys with that. Have you guys ever considered the fact that people are going to speed run UMA?
I can't wait. I want to see it all. Like, I want some mad lad out there to be like, day one, sit down in front of a Twitch stream and say, I'm going to like solo run every fighter in Unmatched. And I can't go to sleep until I'm done doing it, or something like that.
Dr. Jekyll solo. Can it be done?
Not just is it possible, I want to see like how few turns they can do it in. The speedruns are going to be intense. People are going to be trying to define like the exact hand required from and the exact sequence for all of the minions in order to get it in like the 4th turn with like all of these fighters. It's going to be great.
There is a way academically that you can do it in very quickly, and that's if you hit a deception card every single time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then you've got to figure out which character can pile on the most damage and keep their card draw up, and then how many turns it would take to actually work that out. Now, somebody out there who's good at math and knows the game better than I do can figure this out on paper. So if you find the answer, put it in the comments.
Yeah. Oh, hey, thanks. You're doing my job for me. I appreciate you. I'm glad that you guys are excited for something like that, because I feel like a lot of game designers don't like when people find glitches or exploits like that to finish the game quicker. But I find it's like kind of like its own side esport to be able to finish the game as quickly as possible. So that's really exciting that you guys are into that idea.
Yeah,
it only grows the interest. So
yeah,
like, if people are living and breathing Unmatched, it really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how.
Yeah, if competitive is like a fighting game, right? Like Unmatched Adventures is more like speed running.
I think that with this game, there's a bigger chance for it to be more accessible for some players, because I feel like some people hear a fighting game and they're like, oh, that might be too sweaty for me. But giving them the chance to play with the same characters but working together is something I think people will jump on. So is that something that you guys wanted for Unmatched?
For sure. That's one of the reasons that I've only played the one game of 2v2 is that my family didn't take to it the way that I wanted them to when we played in person. So when we had the opportunity to do cooperative, like I know we're going to play, dozens and dozens of times. So I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, I've been told by like really good players that this is their chance to play with their friends again, because there's a ceiling, right? And as long as they don't tell them what to do, they feel like they get to play, right? They feel like they get to make their own decisions, but they get to work with somebody who's really good at the game, who could probably solo it and solve a puzzle together. So I think that's really cool.
For sure. And for people who like just playing with the heroes, like this is their opportunity to play as aggressively as they want to play, right? Because they can write a bunch of checks that they can't cash, but their buddies are going to try to swoop in there and save them, right?
Right.
So they can go down to one card and say, well, I did my best, everybody. Come get me out of this bad situation.
Because something I would like for the game is I would like it to reach a bigger audience. Like in my head, maybe I'm crazy, but I think this could be like the next Yu-Gi-Oh! I think it's as fun or more fun. I don't know.
I think it's more fun. I agree.
I'm not hating, but it's my cup of tea. I played Pokemon TCG, so I don't have valid opinions when it comes to this. Do you think that this is like a gateway for it to be more mainstream?
I think that the more people that get a chance to touch it in any capacity are going to find all of the different modes. They're going to like find the rabbit hole in the community. So like I could imagine getting the co-op system on the table more often with my card shark friends, and then when they see actually the strategy to this pre-constructed deck is actually more subtle and more complex than they could have ever imagined, then I can imagine them then hopping into the competitive scene where all of the matchups are like poured over and strategized, and it's just like a bottomless pit of strategy that they wouldn't have known whether if they hadn't played the co-op. So the more varieties, I think it's just going to like web out.
Not a lot of board games I see are doing that. Who's the worst in Unmatched Adventures?
Why
did you
find
do
worst hero, worst minion, worst villain?
Who's the worst hero?
So worst hero in Unmatched Adventures. I don't know if we absolutely know that yet.
Mm-hmm.
Angel is an easy pick because he's just bad in general. A lot of people are upset that Sherlock might not be as good as he is, because right now he's kind of untouchable S tier. I don't think he's Basement Dweller in Unmatched Adventures. I think he's just good.
All fatigue-based strategies are a little underpowered because in typical like competitive Unmatched, there's always a plan midway through where you start counting the size of decks and try to figure out where fatigue's going to go. But that's not the way this system plays. This system will keep on going. So fighters like Sherlock is especially good with all of the scheme passes to play a really passive game, and that's why a lot of the wins come. Invisible Man likewise. So all of those fighters that try to wait and have a passive play pattern are probably going to be tougher, but they're going to shine in different ways. So being able to move around the map and remove all of the little green men against the aliens might be something that the fog tokens allow Invisible Man to do. But other issues that fighters are going to have is that like almost always the minions are going to throw a defense. So fighters that like just kill you with 1,000 cuts, like Bruce Lee, generally are going to be a little underpowered. So look for the big bruisers. Like now, it's King Arthur's time to shine.
Yeah, I feel like King Arthur's going to really be able to do stuff. Especially, what's that Merlin card where literally Merlin moves everybody? That's huge.
Command the Storms, yeah. It's so good.
And does Sherlock need to be good every time?
He's still good, but yeah.
Still good.
Does he need to be S tier? You know what I mean? Like he's already good somewhere. Let King Arthur shine.
And it's not like he's deducing what Mothman's strategy is anyway. These are big, huge monsters that he's not going to outthink. So
Mothman's just thinking about lamps. Like that's all he's thinking about.
Right. So who's your favorite in Unmatched Adventures to play?
I like Sinbad in all things.
Oh,
I like getting the draw cards, and I like to get to move more than you should and break the game that way. In the ways that you would have fought against T-Rex in the regular competitive game is probably the way that you're going to end up fighting in some ways against the minions and the villains, where card draw is at a premium in the same way that Sinbad wins against T-Rex by drawing a lot of cards and then swinging in with big hits. That's probably the way that is going to be the most reliable when it comes to villains.
I want to get personal with you guys because this is a big deal to me. Today I have this match that I'm preparing for, and it's Achilles on disadvantage versus T-Rex. And speaking of boss battles, I played it 4 times, and you probably might have noticed that I had like bags under my eyes because I was so stressed out. My hair was falling out. I had to keep playing it. It was on Raptor Paddock, bro. What am I supposed to do? She's just go in the middle. She could go anywhere. What am I supposed to do?
You got to hope that those ripples don't hit and be a little lucky. And also, I want you to win that Achilles and T-Rex game because, as I alerted you earlier, we're on the same team in Team League, and you had no idea before you reached out.
Bro, I'm so clueless. I don't know. I don't read, man. I got I'm sorry. All right, I should have known who you were. I didn't know I had big deals on my team. I thought I could just skate on by like I normally do in life. I'm sorry. We're Ohio boys who play Unmatched on the same team. All right? This is like bowling. I'll never forget you. Do you understand me? If I were to play with Sinbad, and I don't know, if I'm playing against Jersey Devil, someone that everybody really likes, and Jersey Devil happened to discard one of my Voyage Homes, does that count or does that not count? Because that seems like it's cheating.
Oh, it counts.
Doesn't count.
Bro, come on. Why you gotta do Sinbad like that? Bro!
Let's get clear on the question here. So for those who don't know, Jersey Devil has a magic card, which is the best card name I think we've ever come up with. It's called Triskaidekaphobia. And if you have 13 cards in your discard pile, all those cards go back in the box and they're not a part of the game anymore.
Bro, that's cheating. Come on. Why you gotta do my boy like that? I thought we were Sinbad bros. You know?
Maybe he is.
Yeah.
Sinbad can win through that. You'll feel bad for a moment, and then you realize that Sinbad is still terrific, and that the last 2 voyages that haven't hit yet are still fine, and you'll get there.
Yeah.
I think the Jersey Devil, I'm trying to remember, my timelines are messed up, but I think the reason we kind of approached the Jersey Devil the way we did is I was doing some fan deck play at the time, and I just had seen too many nonsense cards. I don't want to get you demonetized or whatever.
No,
too many nonsense.
I don't make money.
Too many nonsense cards where people were just like, I play a scheme and I get all my cards back, and I'm like, oh, I'm putting an end to that. Like, we're done with that.
Yeah.
And one of the other reasons that it came across mechanically was that we wanted to tie into the typical mechanic of discarding a card. But having that tied to a villain or a minion, it just happens so many times, and you're already really card poor. So having the option for some of them to be like the top of your deck or your hand kind of gave you a little bit of agency there. And then as we saw like the top of the deck going, we're like, oh, we should just lean further into that. And 1/3 of our testing games, I was playing Sinbad, so I needed to be punished, and it happened.
That's what you get for playing Sinbad, bro. So what do you think is the main spirit of UMA? Like, if you could use maybe one word or sentence, an overall theme for UMA, what would it be?
I mean, is it a cop-out to say cooperation?
No. No.
Okay.
Love?
I think I would go.
That's
I would go. Love's a good one too.
Mhm.
No, I think I'd go with cooperation. Like you do in 2v2, right? So you'll need to juggle the aggro, right? You'll have to decide who's going to be facing the monsters and who's not. You'll have to decide who's going to take a risk and who might hang back. You just have to start coordinating those things to be good at the game.
Yeah, I would say opportunity. I think that the way that the system works is that you just have to look for those small little gaps in the armor of the villains, and then just go. And because you can't wait around, you need to be opportunistic. And I think that's where folks are going to find the most success.
Well, I have another fun game for us to play, and you guys can answer separately, okay? This is a game I'd like to start playing with my guest. It's called Feint, Marry, Kill. So who? It's pretty clever. So we got Feint, Marry, Kill, Mothman, Martian invaders, or me. And you guys have talked to me for 38 minutes, so it won't hurt my feelings if you don't marry me.
I mean, I don't want to cancel your abilities either.
No, you don't want.
What are your abilities? Do you have a character card?
I'm nice.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'll have to kill you.
Okay, you'll kill me. No, that's why I said I wouldn't take it personally, because I'd be crazy because I just met you. So I don't know why I would take it personally. So,
I'm for sure, man.
Yeah. What about you? Would you kill me too, or?
I think I would give you the feint.
Okay. So that's crazy. Yeah. We're talking about what happened to me, but what would you do with the other guys? Or
I would I think I would marry Mothman because he's fuzzy and cuddly.
Yeah, I'm not like that. Yeah.
I think I would feint the aliens because nothing good happens when you get abducted into a UFO.
No, yeah. Every time.
What's
that?
Seen the statue?
Mothman statue, yeah.
Oh.
I've touched that statue. I've touched those abs. I've been in the Mothman Museum and crawled all around Point Pleasant. Yeah, that's in the sun. That metal statue. Those are some hot abs,
bro. I'm going outside. I don't got abs yet. You guys are both marrying Mothman now, and so we're.
Yeah, I definitely think I am.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That's good. No, that's cool, guys. Like, maybe next time we'll think about our answers again, but. I'll give you guys an answer. I would marry me. I would feint the that's a lot of alien. I don't want to kill a whole species, so I'll feint the aliens so they can't do anything, and I'll kill Mothman. Nothing personal, but he just seems very marryable to you guys, and I'm incredibly jealous.
There's probably only one Mothman, and you just extincted his entire moth race.
Oh. Okay,
so who's the bad person now?
Maybe I will not marry myself. I'll have to think about my answer then, because I now feel bad. So we'll have to just go to the next question. What's one thing you would change?
It's hard to say what what I might change, and the reason why is that the design that we submitted to restoration went through their process, right? So it went
Mhm.
through with seasoned designers. Rob Davio is, he's been doing it for a real long time, and he has super successful games. And his hands have been on this set, right? Along with all the other people at Restoration, not to short them. The output of a process that is collaborative, as this was, is going to be much better than anything we could have made on our own. And
Mm.
we recognize that.
Wow.
And I would not want our initial version to hit the shelves. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, to their credit, even though there are small things here and there that I can remember that we submitted that didn't make it,
Mhm.
I'm sure that there's very good reasons why they went away from it, and I trust the output. And watching these games and the way that the final version plays, they they've been terrific. So I wouldn't change any of it except for maybe I would give Frogman a wand because that's
Oh yeah, I
Yeah,
felt like
he
he
needs his
needed
wand
one.
back. I'm glad all the Ohio boys understand that the wand is important.
You working out back there, by the way? Are you making some games and like?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's where I get my best ideas is on the bike.
So I feel like you can equate like your process and create and collaboration with Restoration Games with how you did UMA, right? So you guys want to work together in UMA, and you want to not have any big egos. Otherwise, you can get totally punished for it. And I feel like you guys did a good job of being very open to the ideas that they had. And then I feel like you guys made the best product you can potentially make from that.
Yeah, I mean, I fully subscribe to the idea of killing your darlings to the point that sometimes I will throw away too much in a design too quickly, and more should be kept. So when I see someone else pull something or suggest something that could be reduced from a design that I have after a playtest, I'm ecstatic.
Absolutely fantastic card in Unmatched is always one that's like just a value and a boost value, and then like you get so much mileage out of it, right?
Mm.
Because it like interplays with other things in a clever way. So doing less with more, or doing more with less, is a great thing to have in your game.
Do you have anything else that you would like to promote? Durdle, maybe?
Sure. If you want to learn a little more about us, you can check out durdlegames.com. It's our website. Durdle Games on Instagram as well. Later this year, you will probably see some news of our second game going to publish. The working title is called Constellé. It's on our website. You can check it out. It's a 2-player deduction cozy game, I call it. And it will be getting published by Weird Giraffe Games, and it will be arted by Jason Hager.
Yeah, I get to do the art side of that.
Yo, wait a second. You make art?
Yeah,
It does.
all of the placeholder art that we put in some of the design diaries were all things that I also used this whole opportunity to practice. So I got like a year of just making components kind of the way that if we were going to give it to the fan community as a fan project, it would need some type of art. So yeah, I poured a little bit of time into that.
You're talented, dude. You're both talented. What the heck is going on here? That's how you guys get stuff done.
But when we did UMA, like it sat for months. Like they weren't ready to do anything with it at the time. So we were just like twiddling our thumbs, like, well, we should make some other games. Because there
Mm.
was no more changes we could do. It was in Restoration's hands. So we just started making games, and we haven't really stopped since. And when the games get good enough, we start pitching them and see if there's an audience for them. We'll see if there's an audience this summer when we go to the conventions and do some more pitches there, and we will kickstart some of our own stuff. So, follow the opportunity.
That's awesome. Well, I'll see you guys at Gen Con, okay? All right, real quick, just the top of your head, I'm going to say 3, 2, 1. I'm going to say, give me an IP for UMA that you want like transitioned into Unmatched Adventures. I'll say my first one. How about this? SpongeBob. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
Demolition
Teenage
Man,
Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Alone movie.
I love both of those answers. All right, guys. Well, it was great talking to you. I love talking to you guys, but I'm going to let you live your life. All right, have a great day.
All right, take care.
Thanks for having us. Bye.
Bye.